Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Blizzard Watch podcast. We talk about Blizzard Entertainment and its many games and other things. Sometimes, they do things other than games sometimes, and we talk about other things than them sometimes. It's a rich tapestry. With me this week are my two amazing co-hosts, who I'm going to actually introduce this time, Liz Harper and Joe Perez. Hello to both of you.
Hi.
Oh.
And along with them, we also have, like a very skinny shaft of moonlight that is not in any way being called fat, Cory Taylor.
Hi, everybody. How are you today?
Apparently, they're all like us, living in a world that makes no sense and is constantly.
So we're existing.
Yeah,
we're existing, which is sometimes that's the best you can do.
Let's distract ourselves with people getting drunk in a video game. World of Warcraft Brewfest. It begins on the 23rd of September.
Yay.
What do we know? Anything new about it?
A new mount?
Tell us about it, Joe.
The only thing I know is that it is it's called the Brewfest Barrel Bomber. It's a barrel of ale turned into a flying machine. Which, if you want to play a drunken dwarf flying around in a flying machine that looks very similar to your Delve vehicle, here you go.
It's the Mimiron's head model, but updated a bit.
Kinda, yeah.
That's
like
what
they're
I
all in
was
that
thinking.
same. They're all in that same camp, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Liz.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's exactly what I was thinking. This kind of looks like Memoron's head, without a face.
And drunk.
Well, I mean, the windshield could technically be eyeballs, and the cannon on the front could be a mouth.
See, as you guys were talking about this thing. Oh, sorry.
You made it worse. That's worse.
As Liz was saying that, though, I accidentally got to see the barrel helm, which they have on various sites, like somebody wearing this broken barrel hat. I thought that was the mount. It was just this flying, disconcerting human face.
No.
And I'm like, oh God! And I looked up at it. And I'm like, oh no, that's
better.
No.
Gaze upon this mountain, suffer from pareidolia. Enjoy.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. But the actual one's not too bad, really. It doesn't have a real face, but it does kind of look like it has a face from the front, like how cars do.
Yeah.
Modern cars are all designed to look like a face from up front, so that you associate the car with being your friend. I'm not kidding, by the way, guys. That is actually.
Apparently it drops from Core and Dire Brew, so another thing to be disappointed that won't drop for me. I'll see that.
Oh Lord, I was done. I finally got that mount. Oh, I gotta go kill Dorn Dire Brew again.
That is the most annoying part.
That is the whole point of World of Warcraft, is that you are never finished. It
will
continually draw you back.
The treadmill goes ever forward.
Well, see, this is actually something I would actually want to ride around in, if for no other reason than it is a helicopter mount, which means it irritates the heck out of people.
I just don't play with game sounds. I don't care.
I've annoyed people so long with my Mim's head. So yeah, that's
well, fancy lad over here with his Mimron's head, while the rest of us suffer.
And in my day, we earned Mimron's head during the expansion of Game Mountain. And we had to beat the elves for the roll. Uphill, both ways in the snow. It really was uphill.
I've lost so many rolls by one point. Anyway, moving on. I think the other thing that we should talk about besides Brewfest, I think that really is like there's a toy, a couple cosmetic. Go ahead.
There's some theme transmog stuff in it as well.
Yeah.
And I know you want to move on to the other transmog thing, but we can talk about that.
As somebody who's part Scottish, I have to talk about the kilts. They exist. Yep. There's kilts in Warcraft now. And some nice tartan shoulder capes.
I wish that it was an actual tartan, like over the shoulder, like across the chest, not like the shoulder cape thing. That's my only gripe with them. They look great otherwise.
Yeah, I can see that.
You can do that thing where you only put one of them out at a time.
Not quite the same thing, though.
Not quite the same.
Yeah. It doesn't cover the front. It should be across your chest, not across your back.
As somebody who
mostly
has,
there.
It's mostly there. You can get there. But as somebody who has, I have Scottish family, believe it or not, and I've stood in a Scottish wedding, and having seen not the pageantry of it, but the reverence of it, it's like I kind of just want to go to just do the full thing, man. Come on, let's just do the real thing. Oh.
They have to They could register their Warcraft tartan if they really, really wanted to.
They could.
TV show Outlander. The TV show Outlander has its own tartan that has been officially recognized and registered with the Registry of Tartans in Scotland. So. Come on, Warcraft, step it up.
Yeah.
But now I guess we will move on to the thing Joe was talking about, which is that they've done a thing that I didn't know I'd ever expected them to go this hard on. This Ascended Regalias pack. It's like a $30 pack with like 100 items in it. Like I'm still looking at the post and going, "Whoa, what is this?" Liz just made a noise, so I'm going to let her talk.
I mean, we should lead by saying that this is a 4-purchase pack of transmog, and it's a pretty big one. It kind of depends on your definition here. Because it is technically over 100 pieces, but it's also a couple of looks with a lot of variants and a couple of colors, and a lot of weapons too.
Yeah, a lot of weapons. The weapons are
a whole lot of weapons.
Yeah, that's what made me surprised. Do you want to talk more about it, Liz? I would love to get you to explain this to people because, quite frankly, I'm still kind of boggled by it.
I mean, Blizzard has sold transmog packs before, and they've sold transmog packs in the $20 to $30 price range before. So it's not something new. I would say this looks a little Kyrian themed.
Yeah,
that is the vibe.
Yeah,
that's the vibe I get, or maybe a little spirit healery. It's
the hood mat. The hood part is very spirit. Absolutely.
Yes, so it's odd that it's coming out now because it does. I even think the colors would match the Kyrian sets. There's kind of a silver and blue, and there's a darker purple variant. And it's just, I think if you're doing the mix and match transmog, I think you could make this work with a lot of Kyrian armor. So I think that's kind of it. It's what I think is interesting is the wide range of just stuff. There's just tons of stuff. Blizzard says over 100 pieces. I have not actually sat down to count, but it does look like you've got 2 color variants for both weapons and armor, a couple of armor style variants, and it's just a whole lot. If you like that kind of Kyrian sort of angelic look, if you like things with feathery things, then this may be a transmog pack for you, but it is $30. And in case you were wondering, the $30 cannot be used to apply to the $75 purchase you have to make to get the fell snooter pet that you can get in the gear store for buying something $75 or more.
Rage, flames coming out of the side of my head.
Flames on the side of my face.
I think this is going to relate to stuff we see in Midnight because the bluish color was light. Yeah, and the purpley color is very void.
Yeah,
inspired.
That's true.
Well, they just released two mounts for that too, right? Like they had the void and the light mounts that they just released, the Dragonhawks.
Those came with the Midnight pre-order.
They did.
Yeah,
I don't find it.
But it's their existence is what makes me think. Not only does it make me think that this pack is related to Midnight in some way, it makes me think that we're going back to the Shadowlands in Midnight.
Don't get me wrong. I just don't get as much light from it because it's the blue holiness and not the golden holiness.
I have to shill here real quick because cross promotion is a thing. If you're interested to understand why we think we're going back to the Shadowlands, I highly recommend you listen to this week's Lore Watch, which we go on a 45-minute rant about exactly that.
Sorry, but yes, we did. So I mean, you could be right, Cory. I'm not saying you're wrong. But I have seen enough stuff that's, kind of got a bluish, whitish thing going to it that I think it's at least feasible. And yeah, otherwise this is very Kyrian-y and you would be surprised otherwise. Like, why are we getting a Kyrian look? Why do we get to look like a Kyrian or a spirit healer? And that's the thing is it really does look like a Kyrian or a spirit healer. Looking at the images now, the first image they have is a figure in the front who's wearing the whitish and bluish one with a hood looking super spirit healery. And then behind him, there's the kind of like a face mask that's got winged accents on the back of it that looks extremely Kyrian. So I think Liz is totally on. But Valkyr are very Kyrian in there.
Fair.
In their look at least. So yeah, I don't know. It is cool looking though. And it is a $30. It's $32 up here in Canada, which means it's pretty cheap because our exchange rate's not good right now.
I think the big takeaway from here is like this is a lot of transmog pieces for a very small price, comparatively speaking, right? Like,
yeah, I mean the weapons alone. Because think about, you might not want to use either of those suits, but how many times have you been looking around going, God, I wish I had this specific color of weapon to go with the suit I already have.
Well, how many times? Boom. How many times would we spend $25-$30 on a crown or like a single piece of transmog in the past when they've released it? And I think this is really neat. And this is something that I was talking about. If we're talking about monetization, you can go back and play the tapes. But this is the type of stuff that I think is good, right? Like you're giving an incredible amount of variety for a relatively low price. Like $30, it may sound like a lot, but that's impulse purchase territory for a lot of people. And especially like if you like this aesthetic, $30 for, a plethora of items and weapons and offhands and stuff like that, that's pretty decent. And I kind of hope this does well. And while I'm not going to pick this up because I don't really have anything that falls into that aesthetic category for myself, as far as my characters go, I'm hoping to see this expanded into other things. And while this may be related to Midnight, I'm hoping that they look at other aesthetics, like they did the crystal armor of the Bronzebeard stuff for the trading post this month, right? I'd like to see maybe a whole slew of like that, like a pack of, hey, here's a dwarven themed pack, pick your dwarf flavor, or here's a pack of gnomish stuff, pick your gnome flavor. Like I could see stuff like that doing really, really well, and then giving players options to express themselves even further in game, while you're also getting ready to release another further piece of player expression with the whole housing situation. So like, it's a good time. Like I want to see more of this, and I hope they do more of it because this is a really neat idea.
I want to mention that Liz just posted in our work chat the expanded version, looking at all the various pieces that go along with this. The art that we have so far. I believe it's on. This is Wowhead. I'm looking. Yeah, it's not. Liz, since you posted this, I wanted to talk to you about it real fast. They're called the Spirit Bringer and Soul Rune weapons. You want to go over what we've got here? Because it looks like they've covered a lot of ground.
I don't really want to explain a bunch of transmog.
Not everything, but just it fills in what roles.
It's a lot of feathery things. One thing I am not seeing is warglaives that would go nicely with all the void elf demon hunters we're going to go, because this purpley color.
Yeah, there's the purple feathery ones.
I thought
that was a bow.
I'm pretty sure that's a bow.
Although you could probably use it as warglaives, and I might not be able to tell the difference. But yeah, I think Liz is right.
I do think it's a bow. So either there's warglaives or there's a bow, but there do not appear to be both. And I suspect that's a bow. So yeah, it does look like almost every weapon type is covered. There's an offhand, there's a polearm, there's a back piece, which looks it looks like a gravestone. It looks a little like
very
the
Revendreth
back piece.
Yeah.
It's Kyrian, but it's like Revendreth had that back piece that was literally a tombstone.
That's going to be a shield. That looks like a shield to me.
Oh, you think? That could be. That's more likely, actually, that it's a shield.
Yeah, I think it's a shield.
Which is a cool shield. Like, I would use that.
So you got your... It looks like you have everything covered, and maybe we just haven't seen the warglaives, but yeah.
Oh, hold on. Sorry, like, I'm not to interrupt, but like, what just hit me? The Spiritbringer attire and the Soulbringer attire, they look like Medivh.
Sure, yeah.
They really look like a more purple or more blue version of Medivh's attire with a hood. Like, I'm fascinated by that.
You got the feathery thing.
Yeah.
You got the feathery thing going. The hoods also read a little Diablo Angel, because it's like they cover your whole face. It's just black inside. It's a big hood that comes over and hides you, which is actually also the look we saw from all of the people coming out of the Sunwell in the Midnight trailer. They had these big deep hoods that really covered their faces and made me think Diablo Angels. So it's a vibe. It's a little bit of a vibe we haven't seen in Warcraft before. That particular, like, completely hiding a character's face thing is not something we've seen for player characters.
I also
actually
think
not since Ice Crown. Go ahead,
Liz. I wanted to ask you, since you and I think have been the ones to spend more money than other people in the Diablo 4 gear store. Isn't this amazingly better than anything you've ever spent, your platinum on for Diablo? Like, the amount of variety here compared to, like, you can get this set and one weapon type.
I think the quality here is maybe not as high as Diablo 4, because I've got to give Diablo 4 props. The armor sets they roll out are incredible, immensely detailed, just gorgeous things that then you see on like a character that's like 2 inches tall on your monitor. But they don't have variety. They specifically don't have variety. They're like $25 to cover one character class. Just no one else can wear this. Just this one character with a set of armor and a few weapons usually. And this is another thing about these cosmetic sets is that all of your characters can wear them. It doesn't matter what armor type, you can throw this on, which can make for some really cool combinations. Like if you usually wear plate, or you can wear lighter looks, more cloth-like looks. And if you usually wear cloth, you can get some more plate-like looks with a lot of these cosmetic sets. So it's very cool. It's $30 if you're into it. Then actually this is a good value. If you're into it, if transmog is something that makes you happy, like it makes me happy, then it's a good buy.
Yeah, I would agree. I think so as well, especially since you can wear it for anything.
And in this in the context of microtransactions in games, we're continuing to see Diablo roll out these really expensive $25 armor sets. We are seeing Hearthstone roll out these pets that if you want to be sure you get it, it's $128 in a random gambling mechanic. And, it's really nice to just have something that here are a bunch of cosmetics. You can give us money. And
you don't have to give us a currency.
And you don't have to guess. It's not like we're playing a slot machine and trying to get the one piece we want, and it's like $1 per roll until we spend however much money to get the one we want. No, this is what you're getting. You pay money for it and you get it. And that sounds straightforward, but in gaming, in video games these days, that's pretty refreshing. You just buy something and you have it.
Yeah, imagine that. I went forth, I gave, exchanged money for goods and services. It feels like we're like back in caveman times, guys.
Liz, I'm sorry to say it's $158, not $128.
Oh, yeah, okay. I was really giving Hearthstone too much credit there.
You clearly were. I'm so sorry.
So am I. I'm very sorry.
I do hope that we've seen a lot of stuff come out for the trading post over the while. Since it's been like almost 2 years. 2 years since trading post started. I honestly don't remember when we started. I honestly can't remember. But over the time of its existence, we've seen a lot of stuff come and go. I wouldn't mind it if they took some of the stuff that you didn't get for whatever reason and made something like this for that, where you could just pick up all the trading post stuff. I know that would be double dipping, but it would at least allow me to get some things that I didn't get. But yeah, at any rate, the fact that you just know, you give us this amount of money and you get this amount of stuff, and you can use it on pretty much any character that can, wear anything or use these weapons. Yeah, no, I think that's really great. I am very happy with this idea. But we should move on because, we all have other things to talk about. Like Mists of Pandaria Classic, Landfall is arriving this month. I believe it's like 2 weeks from today because it's the 12th today.
It's September 23rd.
So,
it is not the 12th today.
What day is it? My God, I don't even know what day it is anymore.
It's
the 16th. Okay, so it's next week. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. I'm like, Liz is always constantly amazed that I don't know what day it is. And I'm always constantly amazed that anybody else does. But yeah, in a week, if you remember Landfall, it was the big story push for Mists. And I think it's one of the best examples of an unlocking story over a period of time that they did. At the time, it was really revolutionary. I am looking forward to this, even though I don't have a Mists of Pandaria Classic guy yet. I don't know how I'm going to get a character into this, but I would love to. I really would. But yeah,
there's just so much leveling. I was trying to do it, but I'm only at like a level 81, and I've got to be. 85? No, I think I'm. I think I need to be a level 85. I'm not to Pandaria yet. So, and there's so many other things going on. So here we are. So hard.
Yeah, I do feel like sometimes that they should just keep that various leveling boosts that they come up with every so often. Just leave that on. Don't turn that off. Just leave that on. Let people have it from the go. There's no reason it should be as hard to get to level 85 in Mists of Pandaria Classic as it actually was. No, just speed it up.
Takes time, and how many other games do I have to play? So many.
Just Blizzard games. You never mind all the other games out there in the universe. Just Blizzard itself competes with itself too much.
Yeah.
Like I can't play this and do, the whole Koresh patch, which I'm basically struggling blearily through by myself, with no depth perception, which you don't think is an issue. But Koresh is very big. There's a lot of flying, and I'm constantly trying to figure out where I am on a map. I could use the thing you were talking about, like you use just straight fly mode because you don't want to do the flying mechanic. For me, it's just I wish there was somebody who would be like, pointing me in the direction I need to go constantly, because I'm always overshooting and missing things. Because the thing is fast. The it's not called dragon riding anymore, but whatever you want to call it, mechanic, skywriting. The skywriting mechanic can usually overshoot things a lot. You're like, oh god, I went past it. Oh no, I ran out of flying and I'm landing. Oh no, I went past it again. So yeah, I don't like. Regardless, Miss Pandaria Classic. There's also free realm transfers to Mega Realms starting next week at the same time, I assume, because they feel like the Mega Realm and Season of Discovery and the Anniversary work well. Which, I mean, 4 Seasons of Discovery, I don't know, but the Anniversary stuff, I did actually make a character for it, and it did seem to work pretty well, but, I'm not the one running the servers. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would you think the Mega Realm thing is going to take over for WoW Classic in general?
I think so. The appeal of Warcraft Classic is getting to play back all these old moments with a whole bunch of people rather than just going out in the world as it exists now. Because, like, Pandaria exists now. You can make a character and go run around in Pandaria.
Is it really the point of Classic these days?
Yeah, I have to assume part
really,
of it
because
is you want to experience the world of Warcraft with a lot of people, isn't it?
I would argue that I don't think it is anymore. I think that most of it, if anything, was Season of Discovery really pushing it, because I'd be interested to see the numbers now. But a lot of people, and we were just talking about this during Raid the other night, a lot more people have been flocking back to retail because there's, I'm going to air quote, nothing else to do in Classic. And it seemed like SOD was really like a driving force of that. So I don't know. I don't know that it's necessarily just to re-experience things like it used to be. So that's a question I don't have an answer to, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Classic has a very different vibe. It just feels different, and some people are going to prefer that playstyle, and some people don't care. Some people don't like it. So it takes all types, but the idea is with making mega realms is to have realms with just really huge increased populations that were way higher than servers originally had. So, and the point Blizzard is making is, okay, this means you have plenty of people to recruit for guilds. It means you're going to be able to find people to group with at all hours because there are just more people. And it just means more activity on the auction house. So you'll always be able to find what you're looking for. You'll always be able to trade things. And so the idea is the servers are now capable of supporting many more people than they did back in the day. And that they should, that it doesn't ruin the feeling of Classic to give you more options to play and more people to play with. I am also really curious about the metrics. Is this because the population is shrinking? I don't know. Blizzard only stresses that it's like bigger realms equal more people to play with and thus more fun that you can have.
Yeah, they're not gonna release any like numbers, I don't think. They haven't in a very long time.
Yeah.
Actually, I feel like you guys have all of you in a way have made me have a question that I want to ask you. Do you think that the big difference between retail and Classic has now moved beyond it being a recreation or a simulation of a previous version of the game,
ago,
and into being a more like community-based thing, where retail WoW, the community seems to be rooted in the people you personally know nowadays. It's like your guild, the people you've kind of got on your list. There's not a lot. I don't feel like there's a ton of like in the day you could conceivably spend the time, standing around Stormwind yelling, or actually it would have been Ironforge or Orgrimmar, yelling it in trade to get people to go to your group. That feels like a kind of thing that they kind of still do in Classic, at least to a degree. I know that they put the community play thing. Oh, bloody heck, I can't remember what to call it anymore. I haven't gone to
mean-
LFD in so long. Dungeon Finder. I know they put that in at one point. I'm just curious. What do you think? What do you think the community of Classic actually is? What do you think's going on? And I heard you talking, Liz. So hoping you'd answer. Liz was going to talk.
I mean, Classic still does not have like a raid finder tool, which can be good and it can be bad. And even its group finder is I believe, a little more limited than the group finder in modern WoW. So yeah, you do kind of have to form those relationships and, pay more attention. You have to form more guild groupings or watch your friends list. And I know while I was leveling in Classic, working to get a character up to Mist levels, I had the strangest experience that I have had in Warcraft in a decade at least, which is I was going on farming herbs. You walk along, you pick a flower, you keep walking, you pick a flower. It's just like you're farming to get your skill up. So many flowers. And a druid flew in. And while I was marching up towards an herb and was about to grab it in front of me, and then they flew away. And I was like, druids, what are you going to do? Druids are faster than anybody. But then they messaged me and apologized. They were like, oh, I didn't see you coming up. And I was like, wow, that's something is that a thing that can happen? Apparently. And of course, that's not a problem in retail in modern WoW because that just...
Everybody sees the
node doesn't go away. But it is interesting to see this kind of thing in Classic, it's just, the community just is a little different. It's, it's a step to the left.
I'm going to jump to the right.
Okay, well, thank you, Liz. Do we want to move on, or you guys each have an answer for that one as well? Because I'm fine with either.
I mean, I don't doubt that the community vibes and retail WoW versus Classic are night and day different, especially nowadays. Like back in Cataclysm, I made a really good friend. I've slept on his couch / guest bed / floor at BlizzCons, and shout out Touchpad Warrior for the living accommodations for a week after the convention, because that was super cool. But I made a friend in Warcraft that I went and then stayed on their guest bed. And that was something I did back in Siege of Orgrimmar. Would I be able to pull that same thing off today? I don't think so. Even you'd have to have
even
a
if
guild.
you did make the friend, quite frankly, Cory, your back would go out. Come on.
I know I'm not a young man anymore, but I feel like it sometimes. I don't see that happening in Modern Warcraft in the same way that it could happen maybe in Classic. But that's just out of necessity, that you have to be a little bit more willing to work with people in your server cluster, because if you don't, you can still potentially get blacklisted, and you got to give Blizzard money to hop to another one. And as much as a blacklist ever does anything in Warcraft, but come on. We know that at the end of the day, if you're a DPS and you're willing to fill that, or if you're a healer and you're willing to fill out that healer role for that dungeon run, people are probably going to take you no matter what you've done in the past. But Classic WoW, that's the whole point to me, is supposed to be like playing the original game with as many people as possible to get that feeling of 2007, 2008. Obviously, Pandaria is a lot more recent than that, but to go out there and to play before a lot of the big innovations and before the unceasing grind for power has poisoned all of our thoughts and left us focusing only on raid metrics and Mythic Plus dungeons. So it's going to be really interesting in Legion once that rolls around to see how they handle Mythic Plus dungeons. Classic, if there's ever Classic Legion.
Well, it's just the next one. Well, they're talking about
No.
Right?
There's
Legion
Remix.
Remix. It's Legion Remix. Sorry, brain went nuts. Too many things. I can't figure it out. Joe?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, then let's talk about this WoW Classic Anniversary Realms. They're now in Phase 6, which has got the next
No, they're explicitly not on Phase 6. The curious thing here is
it has to be coming soon. I just there it is. Okay, see.
Yeah, they have not actually announced Phase 6, but if they follow their usual timing, then Phase 6 would launch next week, along with many other things that are launching next week.
Yeah, I wouldn't assume that they'll do that, but then again, I didn't think that we were going to get lots of games we've got shadow dropped on us. So
I don't think Blizzard would do it without announcing it, but we are still expecting it. before the end of the month. It's just it might sneak up and surprise us. Probably not next week, but it's got to be soon. So if you're playing the Anniversary Realms, you do have new content coming soon? Question mark. And I just wanted to remind everyone because it's on the agenda, probably on the agenda before the end of the month. It's coming up soon? Question mark.
Yeah, but if it doesn't come out, then they will be missing a thing that they've been hitting pretty regularly throughout the. They're lately, just not just WoW Classic. Lately, in general, when they do scheduling things, they tend to come pretty regularly. So it will be surprising if they don't. Yeah, I would agree with that. The September, okay, at this point, we've done everything WoW Classic. I guess we can move on to talking about Diablo, which I'm currently in one of my love-hate relationships with that game because I'm still playing it, but I'm very annoyed with it. Season 9 is ending and 10 is beginning on September 23rd. Because, like as Liz pointed out, they're doing everything on September 23rd.
I don't know why we cram everything onto the same date, but here we are. It's happening.
Yep. This one is Infernal Chaos, I believe it's being called. Season of Infernal Chaos.
Season of Infernal Chaos. Everyone loves chaos. We're going to say the word chaos so many times in the next few minutes discussing this that it's going to lose all meaning to you.
Yes, it's going to be the bowl of forces. But it's on the PTR. It's not. It was on the PTR. No. It's now done. No longer PTR. I remembered that just because I know I downloaded the PTR and then I played it and then I had stuff to do and stopped. Go ahead, Liz.
And also Diablo does extremely short 1-week PTRs. It's they're one and done. So yes.
This one it's similar to previous seasons in that you're going to have a bunch of weird powers. They're calling them chaos perks, I think, this time.
Yes.
That they tie into your gear, and quite frankly, I still don't quite understand them. I'm not going to pretend that I was going to sit there and spit out all the facts for you.
I mean, they're really exactly like previous season powers. It's, the same verse again, is that you'll collect these powers as you go and, choose which combinations of powers to equip. One of the interesting things here is that the chaos powers, there are some class specific chaos powers. So as well as the just general, anyone can do this chaos powers. There are some class specific ones that, let you have your own unique power up. And I do like these things because particularly the class ones, because they can have a real impact on how you play the character. And that's what makes seasons interesting is you go in and the gameplay feels different. So, this is good. This is a little more, same thing again. But I like it. I think the thing that's more interesting about the season is actually the chaos armor. Is that what they're calling it? Is it a chaos thing?
It's being called that on the sheet. Yeah, it absolutely is on the art. Key art. They're calling it that. Yep, chaos armor.
So this is, I think, worthy of its name. Chaos perks are they're just kind of a new talent system, guys. You don't need to tack chaos onto the beginning. They're just talents. But chaos armor does have a little chaotic flavor in that these are unique items, except when they drop both with a max roll stats, and also they are for a different armor slot than the unique usually is, and that actually can have really huge impacts on builds.
Like you can get a hat with a ability that you would normally only get on gloves, or like a ring with an ability from a chest plate. It is complicated to understand in a way because you're like, doesn't that always appear there? But it's not. Once you get it down, it's just a cool way to spice up where these things can be applied, which means you don't. It's pretty straightforward that way.
Yeah, we've seen Diablo 3 seasons. There was a Diablo 3 season that let you equip different kinds of powers in the Heroic Cube, where usually there's a slot for each armor type in the cube, and you could equip one of each type. And there's a season in Diablo 3 that I always thought was really fun, where you could equip anything of any type in any slot. And that just unlocked new combinations and ways to play. So this is going to be the same way. You'll be able to equip different kinds of uniques in different slots to enable different kinds of builds, or equip 2 uniques you couldn't previously equip together. Of course, the problem with this is that these are unique items. You aren't going to find them on day one, and if you're counting on one of them to be a big part of your build, you got to find it first.
Yeah, and That could happen, or it could not
But
happen.
that-
So, yeah.
And it sounds like these may not be farmable, which on one hand, that's great because you have a chance to find it anywhere. You don't just have to kill like a giant boss. But on the other hand, it's like if you definitely need this one thing as part of your build, you're just going to have to keep working until it shows up.
Yeah, and then there's things like they're actually having things that change stuff we've already seen in the game, like the Infernal Hordes now have a Chaos Wave that gets added to it when you're doing the Infernal Offering, which changes up the kind of things that are attacking and how many of them are attacking.
It's supposed to be more difficult too.
More difficult, but also just play different. Like the things that are appearing will be things you don't expect to see. Like to use a WoW example, it'd be like if you were doing, the Black Temple and suddenly a wave of angry Murlocs showed up.
I will give this on a chaos scale. I would rank it like a 7 or an 8 out of 10. It's maybe on the 7. It's kind of chaotic.
So the one I love is the Aether. You're fighting a Hellworm, and then a bunch of Aether goblins show up in the thing that they mention here. So it's like, what goblins? Well, I'm always down for more goblins. So yeah, there's that happening as well. Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry, not Joe. Joe didn't speak. It was Cory. Sorry, Greg. Go ahead.
So not just to loop back a little bit, there is guaranteed sources for Chaos Armor, Liz. You just have to be playing on tier 3 or tier 4. So as part of the new Hell Rift design, you can choose at the end to fight an extra hard boss as part of the new season and possibly going beyond then, named Bartuk. And if you defeat him on Torment 3 and 4, you have a guaranteed drop of Chaos Armor. If you defeat him on Torment 1 or 2, there's a smaller chance to drop Chaos Armor as well, is what they say. So
that's still good. It's still good.
It's still pretty good, yeah. It's not an uphill battle. You're not searching the world for that one mythic drop to fully pull your build together. You're just, that you got to be going to the Hell Rifts and doing well and winning, and then winning a little more.
Hopefully.
Possibly a third time.
Yeah, that's our first look at it. I mean, it hasn't actually come out yet, so and we did get a week to testing it, but next week it'll be out.
Yep,
next week it'll be available for everyone. And of course, there's a new battle pass, and there's a new pet, which is kind of a fox-looking thing, and it's either
a fox with cool brass and red armor that's covered in blood, and it's got little devil horns or like Lilith horns or.
I'm laughing so hard as Cory tries to describe this, and I'm just sitting there going, somebody somewhere was like, more blood on the fox.
The problem, it's an adorable, really super fluffy fox, and I actually don't think that's armor. I think that is a rib cage.
It looks like armor to me. I've got this blown up as big as it's going.
Rib cage that they're wearing is armor.
It could be a rib cage they're wearing as armor, but that does look like a cage of bones around its back.
All I'm saying is this fox would definitely worship corn and is definitely building a skull throne right now.
It also has glowing red eyes, so that's how you know we're in Diablo. It's wearing bones. It has glowing red eyes. It may also be infected with something that's kind of... it's a little cute and a lot horrifying, which...
pretty much that sums up Diablo for you guys.
A lot of Diablo 4 pets fall into this category.
Look at those huge eyes and all the organs. Yeah, there's a lot.
So one hand, kind of want it. On the other hand, this is your season journey pet, and those take us big commitment to get. And of course, there's also the battle pass with all of its things, which also take some commitment to get.
Reliquaries.
Liz, you need to zoom in more on this battle pass, because there's what looks to be a very nice golden retriever wearing a bandana around its chest. So it's there on their official document where it says reliquary rewards. It's right there. It could exist. It could be a paid for thing. Who knows? We'll find out more once we.
If it is in the reliquary, then yes, that's just going to exist. That's just going to be a thing you can go get if you pay money for the battle pass, probably.
And finally, there's going to be a new commentary format for the commentaries on Fireside Chats, possibly because they just lost the guy who's in charge of the entire franchise to another company, and they're wanting to reorganize that. They've replaced him. I'm not saying that they didn't, but new leadership.
We don't know who is leading the Diablo team. I mean, I don't know that they've replaced Rod Ferguson with someone. They haven't announced it if they have.
Fair point. I just assumed that Diablo 4 had somebody. The game has a. I assumed
that is an assumption, Matt.
Yeah, I assumed it. Regardless, whatever's going on, they're going to be doing fireside chats.
Well, they had a fireside chat this week, and so previously I have been perhaps a little critical of their fireside chats. I'm not sure how much of that negativity I have brought to the podcast, but I have been maybe a tiny bit negative on them because it has been kind of 2 hours of them reading the patch notes to you and then later releasing that as a blog post. And you're kind of like, this could have been an email. I could have read this. Instead, I'm listening to you for 2 hours to see if you say anything new or interesting. I could have read the patch notes. But yes, this week's fireside chat was a very brief 45 minutes long where they had a lot of pre-recorded content where they've clearly made just sort of a straightforward, like, here are the features, here's the video, you can look and see what's going on, and then a Q&A session. So they kept it on point, and I thought that was a good format because one of the problems, we've talked about this tons and tons, there are so many games out there demanding our attention. There is so much to do and play and watch out there. So it is very hard when you are kind of required to keep up with these things to engage. And Blizzard, the Diablo 4 team, has been kind of heading in this direction. We do know that Rod Ferguson was big on doing live streams. He publicly said early on that he would rather do a live stream than do a blog post, which not a fan of because then you don't have, an official source of this is the real true information.
Yeah.
You have to go back and watch these long streams. So I like this format. They also, as soon as the live stream started, they made a blog post, which covered a lot of the same points, including with more details. So I think this is good. It sounded like they had this planned before, but I do think it kind of goes hand in hand with Rod kind of stepping back from leadership and letting the format of announcements evolve.
As somebody who's seen a lot of announcements in my day job and just in watching everything, the best way to do this is not reading patch notes. People will read their own patch notes. And especially as the developer, I don't need 4 people talking through their patch notes. What I want is do your pre-recorded video, have talk about everything in that quickly, run through them, put the patch notes up live, and then have a moderated discussion where the developers will talk about the things that they are passionate about from that content. I don't need you to run through the list of every rogue unique coming in Diablo 4. I need you to tell me the best rogue unique coming in Diablo 4 and why that is, and the road that you got to that point. Like when I'm looking at a developer talking, I want to see that developer talking about something fun and unique and interesting to them from a gameplay and development standpoint, because that's the point, I'm assuming. Because otherwise, we have lists of words for a reason. I can read faster than you can talk about a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So give me that. Like I'm all for seeing developers getting in front of the camera, and I'm all for them talking about the things that they have enjoyed and the things that they love from game making. We all love video games. That's why we're here. That's why you're listening to me talk right now. So give me a reason to love what you're working on, and then I can love that more because of that.
Speaking of loving things we're working on, Liz, do you mind doing the site news right now? Because we have to get...
Absolutely. I want to remind all of you that Blizzard Watch is made possible by listeners exactly like you. Your support is what keeps us going and allows this site and this podcast to thrive and grow. Things that we aspire to do in this crazy, crazy world we all live in. I do want to give a big thank you to Timothy, who joined us this week at $5 a month. Thank you so much. If anyone else is out there who can support us, $5 a month gives you early access to the podcast and an ads-free site experience. So if you love the podcast, if you like reading blizzardwatch.com, this is a great way to do it without any advertisements. If you don't want to do $5, if you just like listening to the podcast, $3 a month will get you access to all of our podcasts early and ads-free, as well as the Blizzard Watch podcast pre-show, which is always, you never know what's going to happen. You know, in the podcast, we always talk about the news, but in the pre-show, you don't know. It's a surprise. So if that sounds interesting to you and you can support us, please go to patreon.com/BlizzardWatch and give us a pledge. Everything helps. It's a bunch of people who enjoy the site supporting us a little bit that makes it all come together. And we are running a little lower on Patreon than we would like. So if you're capable, please head to Patreon and give us your support. We appreciate you so much. But if you can't, I understand. I understand. Listening to the podcast, reading the website, all of that helps. Sharing our stuff with people you think will like it really helps. Liking, subscribing, that helps. So if you want to follow us on social media to keep up with our content, we are Blizzard Watch on Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Facebook, and Mastodon at gamepad.club. We are blizzardwatch.com on Bluesky and Blizzard Watch Podcasts on YouTube. You can follow us for the latest news on any of those platforms, as well as podcasts and podcast clips. So if you can't support us financially, it's okay. But if you can follow us, like our content, share our content, that really helps us too. So thank you all so much for being here and so much for listening. And particularly thank you to Timothy, who came through and gave us a pledge this week. That is what keeps us going. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Timothy. I meant that to just sound like thank you, Timothy, and then it came out like that. Sorry. Anyway, we've got some non-Blizzard stuff to chat about. There's the good news with Hades 2, and then there's some Borderlands 4 stuff. Joe, I'm going to leave this one in your hands because you think you're the one that wrote about the Borderlands thing. You said we should talk about it. So, do you want to talk about Borderlands now, Joe?
No, we're going to do the good thing. Then we'll talk about the questionable things. Then we're going to end on a good thing because that's the way we should always do stuff in the sandwich method. It makes things more palpable or palatable.
I think it's less the sandwich method, more like let's get some meat around the pill before we give it to the dog. But I'll go with you. Go for it.
Well, I want to start by talking about Hades 2. So we actually have a official release date for it now, September 25th. So pretty...
Only 2 days after Blizzard's everything.
Yeah. And it's interesting, and I believe this was written about on the website. I believe Liz Pat actually wrote the article because it's been in early access for like a year and a half. It's been a while since they first announced it, and then it was available in early access. And people have been playing the heck out of it, myself included. But we finally have an official release date. And it will be releasing on the Switch as well. And we're finally going to get the full narrative. We're going to get the full story, the full lead up to it, which we haven't had from before this. And they're going to be implementing, which I think is really neat. Hades, the first one, had a cross save feature so that if you played on your PC, you could then, pick up your exact save file on the Switch, which is absolutely massive. And I'm looking forward to doing exactly that when 1.0 releases, because sometimes I want to play on my giant TV and sometimes I want to play on my computer and sometimes I want to play in handheld mode. And now I can do all of that and save my progress. Makes me very, very happy. If you're not familiar with Hades, Hades was Supergiant Games. I want to say it was probably their biggest hit. And they've had some easily, and
by a quantum, by an entire quantum of information, it's bigger, yeah.
And they've had some. I don't think any of their games have missed. Even their weakest game, Pyre, was phenomenal, and the story in a thinly, like the story that was presented in what was ostensibly a fantasy sports game, was so good. It was absolutely insane. But Hades 1 was an action RPG isometric adventure. Not quite like Diablo because you don't really collect, loot off the ground, but almost like an arena roguelike would be the best way to really put it. An action RPG arena roguelike. You move from room to room, you select from different branching paths, you earn either abilities or items or currency so that you can increase your power of your character and customize your run. Hades 2 does exactly the same thing. You get a plethora of different weapons to choose from, except instead of playing as Zagreus, you're playing as Minue, the sister of Zagreus in the story as it's told here. And depending on your translation of the classic myth of Zagreus, possibly or not actually related to Hades, and possibly or not, one of his, whatever, like a demigod or however you want to put it. So But it's really neat. I really enjoy the game. I know that I'm not the only one that's been playing it. I don't know if anybody on the podcast here has been playing it in the early access. Cory?
I have not played the early access. I played the early access for the first Hades, and I loved it. And then I was like, okay, it was definitely better once it got to 1.0. So I knew that I would just wait until the official launch of Hades 2 to get into it.
Yeah. The other thing I think is interesting is like the way that Hades 1 made the game relevant for so long with the different difficulty modes, the heat system. I mean, Liz called this out in the article, and if she hadn't, I was going to bring it up. It took 3 years from the release of Hades 1 for somebody to beat the game at maximum difficulty without any mods or seeding or anything like they give you a robust amount of content when they release these games. And Hades 2, even in early access, has already proven to be a absolute gold mine of games. So I'm just excited to see its 1.0 release.
And the music, it cannot be brought up unless you mention the music, because the music that they have in all of their games at Supergiant, but especially Hades, has just been phenomenal. And I cannot wait to hear what is in Hades 2.
Oh, Orpheus's Lament is one of the most heartbreaking songs, and it has 3 different variations in the game. Listen to the soundtrack if you just have a couple hours to kill.
So good.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And now I can move on to the other one, unless anybody's got anything else to add about Hades.
I just think in general, it's one of the better games you're going to get to play. If it's anything like Hades 1, I haven't even played Hades 2. I don't need to know that if it's anything like Hades 1, it's going to be one of the best games.
Yeah, it's been a banger month for games, and we're like between Silksong releasing earlier and people losing their collective minds to it, and I'm one of them, and then this, it's going to be a hard toss up between probably these two for my game of the year, but we'll talk about that later.
I'm not going to put it in game of the year category, but I am really enjoying Borderlands 4, which is also another long-awaited sequel that has just come out in September of 2025.
Yeah, to mixed reviews, actually.
Segue us, Joe.
Segue.
Yeah, so Borderlands 4 did release, and it's been mixed review. So some people are disappointed with it. Some people are disappointed with the performance of it. The game it's very demanding on your systems. I remember.
Do you have a computer? Do you want your computer to sound like a jet engine taking off? Congratulations! Borderlands 4 is here for you.
Remember when I had to replace my entire computer or not play Dragon Age because Veilguard on my computer was basically cooking my CPU? Borderlands 4 is doing that, and worse. People have reported it killing fans overheating, really pressing current day or last generation graphics cards, which it really shouldn't. Memory leaks, crashes. Somebody reported that their hard drive died, which could be because of this, or it could be because of the Windows bug. It could be a combination of both, based off of a memory leak that caused the page file to grow too big. Regardless, when people are bringing up their criticism of the game, Randy Pitchford, his typical wonderful, humanitarian focused self, told everybody to STFU.
I have a question for you, Joe. Who is Randy Pitchford? Because I have not followed Borderlands. I don't actually know.
Well, Randy Pitchford, you see, is the CEO of Gearbox, the creators behind
amateur magician.
Amateur magician, apparently too. But yeah, he's been really vocally bashing people for having, in a lot of cases, legitimate critiques of the game, such as it's a premium game that needs to be run on premium hardware. Saying this to people that have spent $5,000, $10,000 on their gaming rigs and still can't run it, or saying that you shouldn't be trying to run this on a PlayStation 4, can't, or telling them that they're essentially again STFU. Or to adjust their expectations and turn the settings down, then why are they setting options to begin with, right? I get it, but also maybe your game's not coded very well sometimes. Go ahead, Matt.
I just feel like if the game can be run on a PS4 in the first place, you don't have to make that optional. If you can just not release it for the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5 exists. And it's been out for 5 years now.
It's not actually out on the PS4. No. He was just using it as a.
I know. If he's being sarcastic, then that's dumb for a different reason. You know, you are the CEO of the company. If you are telling people, well, don't try to play it on PlayStation 4, like, we're not, because you didn't sell it on that. What could you actually address our concerns?
Yeah, and to put it into further context, and for me, interesting, Steam does this thing where if you've ever loaded Steam, it asks you if it can gather data off your profile. Not necessarily what you're doing, but it wants to know what specs your computer are, because it actually keeps a chart or a database of what the most popular and most prevalent hardware is. Processors, RAM, configurations, video cards, and it puts it out there for developers to look at. And so and many developers, Larian talked about this at length, actually, when they were releasing Baldur's Gate 3. They went through and looked at what the average person was running at home and wanted to make a game that didn't require them to have to go out and, spend on the, current generation of stuff that is, probably way too expensive for most people. And in this case, he's talking about the game's struggling. Like, he's talking about they should move on to newer GPUs, but the game struggles at 1080p on mainstream GPUs like 3060 NVIDIA 3060s and 4060s, which dominate like Steam's charts and usability because they're not bad cards, they're good cards. And if those cards can run, Veilguard at an even 60 FPS without a problem, I don't see why this shouldn't be able to as well. And not addressing it and playing this whole, you're just bad or you need to adjust your expectations is wrong. Just address the concerns. It's not like we haven't seen PC games adjusted after they're released to make them more efficient or to make them run better or to fix coding problems. We were talking about this last week. Silksong just released. It already released a patch to fix a problem that players were having.
I think Borderlands also has released a patch, but I don't know how much it's addressed the PC issues.
And I think the developers working on it probably are working on fixing the problems. Randy just needs to shut his mouth.
Yeah, this is the problem, in my opinion. And granted, I do not know very much about what it takes to make a Borderlands game, but Randy Pitchford has over the years continuously been the problem for the company, Gearbox. It's been Randy Pitchford talking has been much worse for them than their actual issues have been.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
he manages to always make them worse.
I'm pretty sure the dude loves shoe leather flavored ketchup at this point because he just keeps sticking his foot in his mouth.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like we don't really have much more to talk about in terms of that.
I really like the new Borderlands, and it's got Liz's favorite voice actor, Ray Chase, in it. Now, for those of you who don't know, Ray Chase voiced everyone's favorite vampire, Denathrius, in Shadowlands, and Liz is definitely his number one fan.
We may have ruined voice
Man.
acting on that character for Liz and Ray, and I'm sorry.
I just heard enough of him talking, and I'm sorry. I'm sure he's very talented. I'm tired of I don't ever want to hear him say anything ever again. I apologize, but I'm done.
Yeah, it's not Ray Chase you hate, it's Denathrius you hate.
Yes. And it's just there's an unfortunate connection between those two individuals.
And that one is the voice of the other. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
Well,
for that matter, if you could be listening to another game, and as long as he doesn't sound like Denathrius, you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
If Ray Chase has a voice, but it's not Denathrius sounding. I feel you because I have that exact problem. And this isn't even negative, but after his role as Garrosh Hellscream, I've heard that actor in several other things doing a similar voice, and I can't because that's Garrosh to me. I immediately go, Eek!
Is that Patrick Seitz?
Yes. Nice man, nothing against him, and nothing against him as an actor, but when he does that voice, which he still does, I get yanked out of it because to me it's like, oh, it's Garrosh. So yeah, no, I get you. I understand. It's not Ray Chase you have a problem with. It's Denathrius. No, I get you.
There's a kill line that that the Forge Knight who Ray Chase voices pulls out every once in a while, where he says, "Accept defeat, you silly bastards," but in his much nicer voice than mine. And it is so Matt Berry coded that I have to imagine that at some point Matt Berry was attached to voice his character, because you can just hear that like bastards. in it in a way that I don't think Ray Chase is quite delivering on.
Somebody was just watching some streaming vampire show. It's fine. But yeah, now that we've talked about that, do we want to try to hit these other two games before we get out of here?
We have time for them, and I think we should.
So I'm going to say Mario Tennis is on for pre-order. It's coming out February 12th. I've never played Mario Tennis or any. It's a new one, so I'm assuming it's like Mario Tennis 4 or whatever. Joe, you probably have. So
yeah, I was going to say Mario Tennis is a game that people really did enjoy, and we did get one for.
Rabbids in it?
I'm sorry?
Are there going to be Rabbids in it? If Rabbids are going to be in it, then I'm interested.
I don't think so.
Oh.
Because that they don't own the Rabbid. Nintendo doesn't own the rights to the Rabbid. But it's an updated version with new modes. It's called Mario Tennis Fever. There's going to be new rackets that you can actually swap out as a part of the mechanics. It looks really neat if you're into that type of thing. It's up for pre-order now. It will be released in February on the 12th. I just wanted to put it in there because I know a surprisingly large number of people that are very, very into Mario Tennis. I was very surprised by this.
Okay. Can we all agree that Mario versus Rabbids?
It was very good.
Okay. Also, Strange Antiquities is releasing tomorrow. This is the sequel to Strange Horticulture, which I had heard of. Is this going to be a similar game?
Yes. I mean, I'm interested in this one, but I haven't been playing. I haven't played Strange Horticulture. It's it's one of those games. It's about the vibes, and I mean, all I can say is I'm looking forward to it. It's a little creepy. It's a little puzzle game. It's very atmospheric. And the early review. So I am looking forward to checking it out. So if you enjoy, restoring antiques that, I don't know, maybe
haunted,
may have dark pasts, you may have demonic possessions, things like that. If you want to collect, restore, sell, things like that, this is your game. This is the game specifically for you. And I've actually heard it already compared to Blueprints as a puzzle game, and I think that's just, you can't do that. You don't want to make that comparison, both because Blueprints is a wildly unique game that is impossible to categorize, and also because there are bars that are hard to reach. Yeah, it's there's a puzzle element here, but just because one game is a puzzle game and another game is also a puzzle game, you still can't put them next to each other.
You might as well compare this to Balatro, in my opinion, because it's.
But also, I do think putting those things in the same room does complement it.
Well, plus, I mean, I'm looking at the ad for it. If nothing else, the incidental art, which is it's got a very stylized look, but like a book just opened and a map displayed, and the map was literally drawn as it was displaying. All these like the sketches of the architectural type sketches, the maps, the incantations, the rituals. This is all really well done. This is extremely well done. The art itself for like the characters, it's a puzzle. It's a little puzzle game. It's a little kind of a spooky core type thing. So I'm not looking for anything, but all the incidental stuff is really nice. I'm loving these books and how they open.
I love the idea. I love the concept of spooky core. I like it.
Isn't that pretty much what it is, though? I mean, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, that is the vibe. You want to be a creepy shopkeeper. Yeah, that's where we are here.
Yeah, so that's cool. I'm glad that you put that up there. It gets it on my attention. So now I will know to look for. But I believe we are pretty much out of time now, guys. So that's going to be the podcast. Thank you to Cory for showing up and not being like a Death Star in any way. I apologize for any confusion I may have caused earlier in recording. Of course, as always, thank you to Joe and Liz for all the work they do and making sure that this podcast exists and is recorded and you guys get to hear it. Because if none of those things happen, then this is literally just us having a conference call for an hour and a half that talks about some really odd things. Time well spent, possibly, except for the part where I'm going insane about, games that don't even exist.
I said what I said.
Yeah. Thank you to you as well. As Liz pointed out earlier, without you guys, there's no show. So thank you very much. Thank you for all the ways you support us between sharing our content and, of course, kicking a little money our way via Patreon. It all helps, and we all appreciate it. This has been the Blizzard Watch podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here with us, and we'll be back next week.